has brother in ATL?
To my aunt. No, let's say
It's like, are you smarter than him? You smarter than him.
Too often, religion can be looked at as a TV show or a ritual or a drama that has been practiced over and over and over again until the people practicing it don't even realize what they're talking about. Now, this happened in the churches, particularly the Black African American community, and we can stem this from slavery. In 1961, the first slave cargo landed in Jamestown. Now, the slaves weren't happy with the conditions they lived in, so they often prayed from their religion and the Christianity religion. They blended it together. So they prayed to the gods and a god. Oftentimes when slaves were reprimanded, they would pray, and the masters didn't like this because the slaves were so busy praying, they weren't even listening to the instructions they were given. In 1701, it was forbidden that any other religion was taught other than Christianity. The slaves were only allowed to be Christians. Now, the slaves were illiterate, which meant they couldn't read and they couldn't write, which meant they were being taught a religion that they had no idea what they were being taught was true or not, according to Perez. The slaves were secretly taught how to read. Well, some of them were secretly taught how to read. And they read in the Bible that God freed the Hebrews, and so they prayed to God to free them from slavery. In 1799, the slaves were freed, but of course they weren't really free. They didn't have the same rights as white Americans, and many African Americans didn't like that, which caused the civil rights to roar in the 1960s. Now, we had leaders such as Martin Luther King that believed in peace. We had other leaders such as Malcolm X that believed that African Americans should use, and I quote, any means necessary to have as many rights as the white Americans. Now, the means that he particularly used, according to religion, was to convert to Islam, and he became a black Muslim. He believed that the black Muslims could ally with the Muslims overseas, and they would help them become free. So not only do we have black Americans that are Christians, we also have black Americans that are Islams, and that creates division and separation, which even makes black Christianity less legit. Now, in black churches, preachers often preach, but they don't teach. Parents often force a religion on their children, but don't teach the religion. So the religion is being forced just as it was forced on their ancestors 200 years ago. Now, regardless of whether or not Christianity is being forced on us, or we accept it and want to be a Christian for ourselves, it is up to us personally to educate each other so that we know when our preacher preaches, what he's saying actually comes from the Bible. When the little boy reading the scripture in church reads the scripture, he can actually go home and listen to what his mother says and be able to take what he learns in church and apply it to what he's doing at home. When the little girl sings on her choir and she belts out words so passionately, she'll actually have an understanding of what the words means. Regardless of whether or not Christianity wasn't our religion in the beginning, we claim it. So that means we should educate each other and inform each other on what being a Christian really means. And according to Merriam-Webster, being a Christian is to follow Jesus Nazareth and to understand the Bible and read it and reflect it on everyday practices. So, as a Christian in the black community, we should educate ourselves regardless of not we are practicing a religion that was meant for us in the very beginning.